So I'd like to welcome everyone here. It's another opportunity to sit together in presence, as well as open into mastery of the mind and ego. And those are the two steps of this teaching. It's very, very simple. You learn the art of being present, which is remarkably simple and easy. And then you become a master of your mind and ego so that you're no longer involuntarily pulled out of the present moment. So you can actually settle into the present moment, even as you live your life, even as you go to work, or participate in your relationships. What can happen, what is possible as we follow these two simple steps, is we become more and more grounded in presence. And as we become more and more grounded in presence, more settled into presence, all the qualities of presence begin to flow into your life. You're not doing anything, but all the qualities of presence flow into your life as you settle into presence. You become more grounded in presence. Now, what are those qualities of presence? When you're present, who are you? When you're present, you are love. Let's start there. It has nothing to do with who or what you love. You are the energy of love, the essence of love. It's who you are. And you give off a glow of love, just like a candle gives off a glow of light. That's who you are. And there's nothing you can do about it. As you become present, that's who you are. You are acceptance. You are literally the energy of acceptance. It's who you are. You don't have to do it. It's who you are. You are compassion. You are empowered from within. You exist in the realization and recognition of oneness. And the beautiful thing is, as you settle into presence and you liberate yourself from your story, the world of the past and future, all these qualities just flow naturally through you into your life because it's who you are. The first step is very, very simple, very easy. You just bring yourself present with something that is here in the moment with you. If you can see it, hear it, feel it, taste it, touch it, or smell it in this moment, you can bring yourself present with it. And the moment you're present with something that's actually here, you must come out of the mind, because the mind is always past future. Thoughts must stop without you even trying to stop them, because thoughts are always past future. You cannot think about the present moment. You have to leave the present moment in order to think about it. Then you're no longer present. What does it mean to be present? It just means you're here. At last you've arrived. You finally made it. Now, if you're not here, what does that mean? Where are you? If you're not here, if you're not present, where are you? The answer is you've somehow become absorbed into the past and future world of the mind, with all your memories, all your future imaginings, all your ideas and beliefs and concepts, most of which are not yours. They were given to you, put into you. You're in a world of illusion. I call it the world of not here. From the world of here now to the world of not here in an instant. We're so good at that. How do we make that shift from the world of here now to the world of not here? Very simple. We think our way out of here. Now, there's nothing wrong with thinking. I'm not against thinking. I'm not against using the mind at all. The problem is when those thoughts are habitual. They just don't stop. which means you'll find yourself literally imprisoned in the world of the mind, the past and future, and disconnected from the truth of life revealed through this moment. Now, you can't really know the truth of what I'm speaking of through understanding what I'm saying, or even agreeing with me, or disagreeing with me. It's all irrelevant. The only way you can know the truth that I'm speaking of is to be present yourself. Then you will know. As you settle into those deeper levels of presence, all sorts of amazing things start to open up. But we're not looking for amazing things. We're not looking for bliss. We're not looking for ecstasy. We're not even looking for enlightenment. We're simply choosing to be present in the truth of life, revealed through this moment, then lost in a world of separation and illusion, lost in the past and future. We're not here. And from my perspective, the sole purpose of our journey here on earth is actually to get here. We've lived lifetime after lifetime lost in our stories. But we keep getting another chance. We'll give you another chance, says God. You can have another chance. You can incarnate again and try and liberate yourself from your story. I'll give you another chance. But what do? We blow it lifetime after lifetime. I'm watching you. You know, here in this environment, you really are encouraged to be very honest and share whatever comes up or ask whatever question you want to ask that might support you in just settling into the present moment. Whether it's how do you become present, how do you free yourself from that world of the mind and that world of non-stop thought, how do you free yourself and become present, even if it's just for a moment. Or you can ask questions that will help you become a master of your mind and ego and settle more permanently into presence, more fundamentally. I shouldn't say permanently, because that implies time. Okay, so does anyone have a question? If not, we shall go to our list. Okay, over to young Hamid. Yes, sir.
Hi, Leonard.
Hi, Hamid.
It's nice to be here.
It's nice to see you here.
I guess I just have a bit of a confession and would love to hear what you have to say about it. Feels like lately I've been a bit of a crazy person. Like I've been keeping myself really busy and experiencing quite a lot of anxiety and stress. And I notice that I keep thinking that I've got to change my outer reality, like my outer circumstances. And then I had this thought like, oh, maybe it's the other way around. Maybe it's my inner space that needs my attention more. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. It's very difficult to free yourself from anxiety if you don't know what you're anxious about. So what I would recommend is next time you're feeling anxious, slow down, become present with your body breathing, and see if you can't feel that anxiety. And if you can feel that anxiety in the moment, give it an opportunity to express. Ask the anxiety, what are you anxious about? And see what comes out. Because you really have to bring it to consciousness. The truth is, you're a free being. You can do whatever you like. And there's no right or wrong. And you can change on a dime. The whole direction of your life can suddenly change if you choose it to change. There's really no need for anxiety because you're a free being and because there are no mistakes. Who are you? What do you want? It's that simple. Nobody cares. Your parents don't care. God doesn't care. Nobody cares what you do. You're a free being. As you become present, this is something I didn't say earlier, as you become present and you open up to all those wonderful qualities that I described, there's some other benefits that come with that, which is if you're really present and you've been through that process, the step 2, you get to a point where you really don't care what other people think of you. You're not concerned with other people's judgments. You don't judge yourself. You don't judge others. You're not looking for acceptance or approval or acknowledgement. You're just free to be yourself. Wouldn't that be nice? The more present you are, the more you really connect with who you are and what you really want. Okay? That'll do for now. Okay. Mary, do you want to ask the first question?
This question is from Gail from Nevada. Time and again, I've attempted to enter the present moment only to be ejected due to big discomforts in my body. I don't know how just to be with the discomfort, as it's accompanied at times by this overwhelming anxiety. The discomfort has to do with some weird and uncomfortable breathing patterns which began developing over a year ago. I know the anxiety that accompanies this is deeply tied to the fear of death, so my ego, of course, wants me to be anywhere but in the present moment. Can you please comment on this? After 6 years on the spiritual path, this seems to now be what's eclipsing further progress.
You're obviously not comfortable with your feelings, Gail. And yet your feelings contain all the clues and all the keys to your awakening. If you're feeling anxiety, you need to be able to become present and feel the anxiety and let it reveal itself. What are you really anxious about? If you can identify it, it almost immediately dissolves. If you can be present with it, identify it, acknowledge it, let it express, and you'll discover what you're anxious about. There's so many things we can be anxious about in our lives. But in this context, as you become present, again, you've touched upon it, which is as you become more present, the ego is going to bring up all sorts of resistances. Because as you become present, your mind falls silent. And when your mind falls silent, this is very anxiety-provoking for the ego because the ego lives in a framework of thought. It lives in the world of the mind, in the past and future. And as you become present and your mind is silent, the ego feels like it's dying or disappearing. And I can promise you the ego won't allow that. It's not going to allow itself to die or disappear. So it has a bag of tricks that'll pull you out of the present moment. So you really have to reassure the ego that you're not abandoning it, that it's not going to die or disappear in any permanent sense. In fact, encourage it to have a little rest as you become present. You really have to come into a right relationship with the ego, which is only possible from presence. Because from presence, because you are present, and you are the energy of love, acceptance, and compassion, you can bring that energy to the ego as you recognize what it's doing. You have to shift your relationship with the ego. Most of us are in conflict with the ego, or we want to get rid of the ego, or at some level we see and perceive the ego as the enemy, which is immensely unhelpful and a false teaching. If you've read that anywhere, it's a false teaching, that with enlightenment the ego is annihilated or gotten rid of. The ego is reading that with you. And the ego will say, oh, really? You think so? We'll see about that. And you cannot defeat the ego. It's impossible. No one in the history of humanity has ever defeated the ego. Not Buddha, not Jesus, not Ramana Maharshi or anyone else. It doesn't work like that. What happens is, as you become more and more present and you come into right relationship with the ego, which is a relationship based in love, acceptance, compassion, and allowing, the ego will begin to relax. It will begin to trust that it's not being abandoned. So the first thing, Gail, is really become present in the body. And if you have uncomfortable sensations in your body, just be present with them. They're there for a reason, and they have all the keys and the secrets buried within them. As long as you keep repressing it or trying to get rid of it, that's a form of judgment, and judgment will keep you forever in separation. And I know it's not easy, but sooner or later we all have to come into right relationship with whatever shows up. Whether it's the ego, whether it's judgment, whether it's your repressed emotions and feelings from the past, whether it's different aspects of who you've become that you've been judging until now, sooner or later you have to come into right relationship with it all. And right relationship is only possible from presence. Presence is what has been missing in our in the life of humanity, really. That's what awakening is. Awakening is awakening into presence. And then allow the mystery to reveal itself through the doorway of the present moment, which is also the doorway to the eternal. Your feelings are allowed here.
My boyfriend and partner suddenly died just about a year ago. And it's what I'm really experiencing recently is well, part of it is just finding it hard to be present here without him.
Right. What are you afraid of? What's your fear? Without him, complete the sentence, without him. Can you complete the sentence?
Yeah, I guess what first comes is I don't matter.
Right. So that's the beginning of your journey, really, to explore where does that come from? That feeling you don't matter, because it's not the truth. But somehow it became part of your story. Well, you see, those issues like I don't matter or I do matter, they completely disappear as you become present. Those feelings and those thoughts, I'm not good enough, I'm not loved, I'm not wanted, I can't do it, nobody sees me, there's no one here for me, I'm all alone, I have to please others, I have to do the right thing. All those things disappear as you become present because they exist within your story, in the past and future, within the mind, and they were programmed into you in your childhood. It doesn't mean that your parents meant to give you that impression, or we don't know exactly where it comes from. You have to explore that. Where does this false belief about myself come from? It's not an analytical process. It's a process that reveals itself to you as you feel the feelings. So instead of running from the feeling that you don't matter, you have to embrace it, feel it, acknowledge it, confess it. Tell the plant, I don't matter, plant. Tell it. It's a confession. You're confessing to the plant, I don't matter.
Even if I don't feel that right
Yeah,
now?
even if you don't
Okay.
feel it.
I don't matter, plant.
Yeah, and nobody sees me. Tell the
And
plant.
nobody
Yeah,
sees me.
you don't see me, plant.
You don't see me.
Stay with the plant.
Okay.
Yeah. That's how these things dissolve. When you bring them to consciousness, own it, acknowledge it, confess it. The only way out of the story, and the story is programmed in childhood and often is programmed from other lifetimes, but the story is, once it's there, you cannot free yourself from the story unless you bring the story to consciousness. What is your story? And more importantly, who are you in your story? Earlier tonight, I shared with you the truth of who you are. Remember that? When you're present. Do you remember? You are love, you are acceptance, you are compassion, you exist in the realization of oneness. In truth, you are an eternal being. That's the truth of who you are. Now, you can only know that as you become more and more present. But then there's an equally interesting question. Okay, given that that's the truth of who you are, and I'm here to declare it so, because I know it to be true about you, about everyone, a very interesting question arises. Well, given that that's the truth of who you are, who have you become on this long journey through time and separation? And it's really, this is a part of step 2, bringing awareness to what keeps you out of the present moment, how you're caught within your story. What are the obstacles to your being present? How is your mind programmed? How is your story programmed? You have to bring these to consciousness. What is your story and who are you in your story? But without judgment. You're not trying to change anything and you're not trying to fix anything. You're just revealing everything into consciousness. And you will be amazed by how quickly everything starts to change. And I'm sure you have more limiting beliefs than just those two. I don't matter and nobody sees me. Does anyone else relate to that? I don't matter. Hands up, the ones who don't matter. Come on, put your hands up. Look around. Come on, look around. You're not alone. Okay, does anyone else feel that you're not seen? Nobody sees you. Hands up, the unseen ones. Okay, look around. Okay, who's got I'm not good enough? Hands up, the I'm not good enough. Oh, we got a lot on that. That's the most popular. This is the most popular one. I can't do it. Who's got I can't do it? Okay. I could go on and on. I'm not loved. Who's got I'm not loved? Hands up. You should be putting your hands up, those viewing at home as well. It's not okay. It's not safe to feel my feelings. Who's got that? Good. We've got them all. That's the joke. And we're also busy hiding these things from each other that nobody gets to recognize, well, we've all got the same stuff. We're all equally insane. Completely filled up with these illusory beliefs that stem from childhood or other lifetimes. But there's no freedom, there's no liberation without bringing it to consciousness. I'll say it again. What is your story? It's great to identify what is your story. What is the theme of your dream? And who are you in your story? It becomes an exploration then. You're not trying to fix anything. You're an explorer. You're like Sherlock Holmes, recognizing every little clue about who you've become. No judgment. Own, acknowledge, confess who you've become. And then it will relax and release you. Who you've become just wants to be accepted. Not judged, not condemned, not changed or fixed. Who you've become is just saying, be present with me, allow me to be who I've become, just for a moment, without judgment, without trying to fix me. Now, everything that happens in your life is a mirror that's reflecting to you what you need to bring awareness to, consciousness to. Your relationships. The loss of your boyfriend is still a great opportunity for you to bring it all to consciousness. Now, it's a journey. Being present is not a journey. You can only be present now, no journey. Either you're present which means you're present with what is here, the sound you hear in this moment, what you see, what you hear, feel, taste, touch, smell. So there's no journey in being present, no process, no time. You're either present or you're not. And there's no judgment in that. You're allowed to be either. But step 2 is more challenging. Step 2 is kind of what we're addressing now. There are 4 aspects to step 2. There's bringing awareness to the ego, coming into right relationship with the ego. That's the first. The second is coming into right relationship with who have you become? Who have you become? On this long journey through time and separation, living in a world where no one's really present, who have you become? Because we've all become something less than and something other than the truth of who we are. The third aspect is to liberate the emotions repressed within you from the past. The fourth aspect is to bring awareness to how you lose yourself in others. And if you're concerned about whether others see you, guess what? You're losing yourself in others. If you're concerned with whether someone approves of you or loves you or accepts you, you're losing yourself in that person or in others. If you're afraid of judgment or rejection, if you're afraid of the opinions of others, you're literally losing yourself in others. And the whole of humanity is lost in, we're all lost in each other. But a part of the awakening process is to bring that to consciousness, how that happens. And slowly, slowly you come back to yourself. You know what? You're all free to love me or hate me. It has nothing to do with me. If you love me in this moment, it means that you're love. That's all it means. You are the energy of love in this moment. If you hate me in this moment, it has nothing to do with me. It just means you are the energy of hatred in this moment. I'm not saying permanently, in this moment. If you're judging, so you're free to judge. It has nothing to do with me. You're free to hate, love, accept, reject. Does that sound like it could be somewhat liberating? Yes or no? Can we have a yes or a no? And it's a part of a process. It doesn't happen all at once. You can't make it happen. But you can begin this process of bringing everything to awareness, to consciousness. It's like you don't miss a thing as it shows up. I'm in the center, you could be in the center, you're in the center, I'm in the center, present, silent, I am. But then if something shows up within the world of the mind, the past, the future, feelings, from presence, I recognize it. I can attend to it. I can reveal it. It's like that statue of Shiva, I think it is. Oh, here's me being jealous. Oh, here's me controlling. Here's me judging. Here's me being afraid of judgment. Here's me seeking approval. Many arms, just catching whatever shows up. But I'm in the center. I don't move from the center. And what I'm describing is so easy for you as you become present, but it's impossible until you become present. Because to become present is transcendent of the mind. It's transcendent of the past and future. It's transcendent of the future, of the story. When you're present, if you're really deeply present, at least in those moments of deep presence, there is no story. End of story. So from presence, from this transcendent state, it's so easy to recognize and be aware of the story when it does show up. When you're not present and the story shows up, there's still enough presence in you to recognize it, to catch it, to reveal it, to bring love, acceptance, and compassion to whatever shows up. Now, don't you try and understand any of this. This is your first night with me, right? Or not?
Yes.
Okay, so, some of these people have been with me for quite a long time. You've really got to get the whole teaching before it starts to really click into place. And the whole teaching is contained in my book, Journey into Now, if you really want the whole teaching. I can't go through the whole teaching in a setting like this, simply because of time.
This next question is from Jill from Crockett, California. Hi, Leonard. Thank you for your beautiful teachings. My question: as I am awakening into more presence, I find I am less organized, less focused, and cannot multitask like I used to. I find work to be more challenging because of this. Any sage advice for me? Lots of love, Jill.
Okay, the only sage advice I have for you is be patient. It's a stage you can go through where everything you describe is true. It can be a little more difficult for a while. But slowly, slowly it integrates within you. Presence integrates so that you find you can function quite well in the world, even multitask. Not that I'm very good at multitasking. Mary is. You should be asking Mary this question. But for me, the ultimate outcome of this whole process of awakening is to awaken into this very, very deep, silent state of presence where there is no time, no past, no future, and you quite literally cannot function in the world. Forget about multitasking. You can't single task. And you can't have a relationship. You can't talk to anyone because you're completely immersed in isness and oneness. And I am speaking from authority, and I've been in this state for months at a time. And that's great if you live in India. Or you find a cave somewhere and someone will bring you food every morning and say, eat this, or drink that. But the better outcome for humanity is to awaken to this deep level, but then master the art of playing beautifully, intelligently, effectively in the world of time without getting lost in the world of time. So what I say is I play in the world of time, but I'm not of the world of time. Then which world are you of, sir? Well, I am of the world of now. This is where I live. This is my home. But that doesn't mean I can't play in the world of time. I have a mind. In fact, my mind is much clearer having emptied it out from all the junk from the past. The mind becomes a very clear instrument of expression. But it's quiet unless you're choosing to function at that level. If I'm not choosing to think, then my mind is silent. And when I'm done thinking, I'm silent again. I'm not trying to be silent. That's where I live. Now, this is possible for everyone as you become more present and as you become a master of your mind and ego. Then the mystery of our existence will begin to open up within you. The mystery of who you really are. My God, you're all so much more than you could possibly think you are. There's no way you can know who you really are from within the mind. It has to be revealed from within the mystery.
This next one is a comment from Clara from Austria. Dear Leonard, I just want to express my gratitude. Thank you for your wonderful teaching and your true wisdom. To me, you are a true master, and in addition to it, you are very funny. You are an inspiring and shining example for me. I love you very much. Clara.
Thank you, Clara, and what a beautiful expression of who you are. So thank you.
Okay, this question is from Amarnath from New Jersey. Leonard, 43 years on spiritual path. Love it. Experience some silence, presence, and love, light, energy, compassion. But all clouded with almost 4 decades now of chronic pain, on the right side of my head, neck, etc., with a major energy block in the collarbone area. A major conundrum is that when I experience more silence and relaxation, the experience of pain is intensified due to greater sensitivity. So instead of going deeper, there's frustration and an energy drain, even though I do my best not to resist, accept, relax. Is there any hope?
Yes, there is every hope. You say you do your best not to resist. But the truth is you are resisting, and you can't cover that up by saying, I do my best not to resist. You're much better off to come out and bring that resistance out with power and force. So you become present, feel the feelings wherever the feelings are, and resist them, but actively. I don't want to feel you. You shouldn't be here. I hate you. I don't want to feel this. First, bring out the resistance, just as a stepping stone to the next step. I don't mean you should get stuck in that, just to express it. Express whatever's there. But then you have to recognize that those feelings you're describing are there for a reason. And the fact that as you become more present, it becomes more intense, reinforces that they're there for a reason. You need to come into right relationship with these feelings and allow them to reveal their secrets. They have secrets for you. They have clues for you that will support you in liberating yourself from your story. Now, there are some things that are best attended to in a private session. So, sometimes you have to go deeper into that and be guided through the whole process, coming into right relationship with that feeling and really allowing the feelings, whatever they are, to come to surface into consciousness and express. Then you'll be surprised by what happens. It's very easy to get rid of a headache. Well, actually, it's the wrong words. You not get rid of a headache. But I can't tell you how many people that have, and some of you have witnessed it, people that complain they've had a headache for many, many, many years, and they've spent their whole life trying to get rid of it. But just a little bit of guidance to help them become present with the headache, come into right relationship with the headache. Let the headache express what it really is here to say, what it wants to say, what it's been trying to express for a long time. And like a miracle, the headache just disappears and doesn't come back. As I said, we are so much more than we think we are. And everything that shows up, everything is a clue, an opportunity. So what you're complaining about is really an opportunity. But, it's natural and it's quite natural and normal to feel afraid of these feelings. So sometimes we need a little bit of guidance to help us come into right relationship with the feelings and to become present with them. So yes, there is hope. For example, if you have feelings repressed within you from your past that you're not really allowing yourself to feel, and not allowing those feelings to surface, that's a form of judgment. You're judging those feelings and keeping them repressed. Even with your boyfriend passing in the way he did, even though you can feel all the feelings associated with that, all the grief, the anger, the hurt, the pain, all of it. But if you judge what happened, if you judge it and say that shouldn't have happened, then you're going into opposition with life, with existence. And that will keep you in the separation because it's a judgment. Acceptance is such a key to awakening. But you can't force yourself to accept. You can't artificially accept. You can't superimpose that on yourself if at a deeper level you don't accept. So what do? You have to bring that deeper level out first. I don't accept this. This shouldn't have happened. I hate you, God. How could you let this happen?
Hi, my name is Rachel. I just wanted to say that my repressed feelings that I've had. They're all starting to come up, and I'm really feeling. And this session tonight is really good. It's really like I'm just like really feeling things, and it's just touching in all kind of spots inside of me. Will I get better at accepting them and being able to feel them? Because right now what I'm experiencing is really being able to feel things that I've either denied or suppressed or had all these different illusions, and like everything that you're talking about tonight is really resonating with me.
Let me respond.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, don't worry too much about the feelings. Focus on being present. Because it's only from presence that it becomes very easy to allow these feelings to surface. Because the more present you are, the more there's always two dimensions at play. So when feelings come up, be it anger or hurt or sadness or whatever it is, if the feeling comes up, you can, on the one hand, you can really allow the feeling, you can embody the feeling, you can express the feeling upon behalf of the feeling, right? Or wherever the feeling comes from, if it's the little girl, or if these feelings originate with the little girl you once were, then in a way you're her champion. I'll feel these feelings for you. I'll express them. I'll let it all up through me. So in other words, you can embody and express and feel the feelings, but what's most important is that at another dimension, as the feelings are surfacing and expressing, there's sufficient presence in you that you know it has nothing to do with this moment. And you don't get involved in the story. The feeling will come with a story. And it's really good to let the feeling come with a story and exaggerate it. Let it be full, but at the same time, you don't have a story. You don't, not if you're present. And so it becomes interesting. Wow, what part of my story is coming up? Play with it. Now, you've heard me talk about anger a lot. So the most difficult energy is anger. The most difficult feeling is anger. The rest is pretty easy. Sadness, what do you do with sadness or hurt? Simple, you cry. And maybe you cry for 10 minutes, who cares? Maybe you cry for 2 days, who cares? But it's a beautiful release that's going on. If you can allow the feeling, the tears to come, the sobbing to come, let it reveal what you're sobbing about, but there's another dimension, just witnessing the whole thing. It's not disassociation, it's two dimensions at the same time. And that's only possible from presence. Don't try and analyze your feelings, don't try and understand them. Just allow them to come up. That's your role as an awakening being, is to liberate the repressed feelings. When you were younger, whether it was you're a little girl or a younger woman, right? You didn't know how to deal with the feelings. They were too much. And so you made a very intelligent decision to repress the feelings. Whether you were 3 years old or 17 years old, it doesn't matter. You made an intelligent decision to repress the feelings. But this is where it becomes very interesting. Feelings, emotions, feelings, are just energies. They're not meant to become a part of you. They're not you. The energy of anger arises and it's meant to pass in a few moments, having delivered its message. What's anger's message? I'm not getting what I want. I'm having to put up with what I don't want. It's meant to move through you in 3 seconds, if at most. And then you get the message and then you ask for what you want. Or you say what you don't want. You become an empowered woman or an empowered person, right? Hurt, sadness, has exactly the same message. I'm not getting what I want, or I'm having to deal with what I don't want. It hurts. It's meant to be this big and last this long. But we learn to repress these things in our childhood, and in repressing the feelings, we literally made them a part of us. So you turned yourself into potentially an angry woman by repressing the feelings, or a victim by repressing the feelings. You're not an angry woman, you've just got anger stuck in you, repressed within you. So your role as an awakening woman is to literally liberate the repressed feelings. It's not therapy. You're not getting rid of it. You're liberating. You're allowing those repressed feelings to surface. The way I put it is you're allowing the repressed feeling to complete its journey. And it doesn't take long. Once you get the hang of it, it doesn't take long. The feeling has to be allowed to complete its journey, and then it's done with you. You can liberate lifetimes of anger in 3 seconds if you hit the right note. Anger needs to know that it's accepted, that it's allowed to be what it is, all that it is. It only needs it for a few moments, and that you'll be present with it. If anger comes up or hurt, and you get caught up in the story, then you're no longer present with those feelings. But that's what the feelings need. They need to be allowed to be what they are, and they need you to be present with them, not lost in their story. That's the beauty of it. That leads to very fast and profound healing. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a comment from Christine from Sydney, Australia. Dear Leonard, I'm immersed in your teachings since being introduced to you via a friend in California. This is a mundane question, really. Do you ever return to Australia for retreats? I would so love to attend one. I'm so grateful for your teachings, which have crossed my path at what could not have been a more receptive moment. I'm currently reading Journey into Now, which seems to pull me directly into presence just reading it. Thank you so much. Love and blessings, Christine.
Okay, Christine. Well, I have an interesting announcement for you. Today, this very day, we just scheduled a retreat in Australia. In July, what are the dates?
July 24th to 28th.
24th to 28th, near Sydney. So, yippee. I'm looking forward to that. Okay. If anybody wants to come to Australia, feel free. Okay, Mary, would you like to continue?
Yes, we have a question from Ilya from Moscow, Russia. I'm asking this question because Leonard is the only non-dual being I can ask. My question is, what is inner meaning of these words from Bible? Therefore, whosoever heareth these sayings of mine and doeth them, I will liken him unto a wise man, which built his house upon a rock. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat upon that house, and it fell not, for it was founded upon a rock. And every one that heareth these sayings of mine, and doeth them not, shall be likened unto a foolish man, which built his house upon the sand. And the rain descended, and the floods came, and the winds blew, and beat upon that house, and it fell, and great was the fall of it.
I love those words. I talk about that in my play, The Liberating Jesus. It's really, really very simple. His words, his teaching is all about being present. And the rock that he's speaking of is the rock of presence. And it's very difficult once you get to a certain level of presence to be pulled out of the present moment. It gets to a point where it's virtually impossible. So it's really very simple. As you become more and more established in presence, it's virtually more and more difficult to be pulled out of the present moment and caught up in the story and all the winds that blow within the story. And conversely, if you don't follow his guidance and don't become established in presence, then you're going to be pulled here, you're going to be pulled there, and great was the fall of it. We're all greatly fallen. It's actually true. To be lost in the mind without access to presence is to be fallen in a very, very deep sense. We are all fallen. Now, I'm not judging that. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's like the the words in Amazing Grace, I was lost, but now I'm found. How can you be risen unless first you've fallen? It's part of our journey. We take the fall and then we're supposed to awaken out of that fall, but we didn't. It's been a long time. As you become more and more established in presence, the foundation of your life within the world of time is like a rock of presence. That's what's missing in our lives within the world of time, the foundation of presence. That becomes the foundation even as you play in the world of time. And what sort of foundation is that? It's a foundation of love, compassion, acceptance, clarity, power, truth, oneness. That's not a bad foundation. And that's who you are in presence. That's the foundation that supports you as you live your life. But if you're not present and you're living almost exclusively within the story, within the world of the mind, what is your foundation then? It's very interesting. I'll tell you what the foundation is. In the world of time, the world of the mind, in the story, it's the 4-year-old child you once were. That's your foundation with all the limiting beliefs, all the fears, all the insecurities, all the limiting beliefs. They're all there as part of your foundation. But as you become present, the foundation shifts, and then you pick up that poor little child, that 4-year-old, and say, it's okay, you don't have to carry this any longer. I'm here now. And I'm here now for you, and I love you, and I will carry you, if that's what you would like. I will nurture you, I will hold you. I am without judgment. I am from your future, and I've come back for you, to rescue you from this painful world where no one is present. That's what's possible as you become present. So it's a complete shift in the foundation of your life. Presence becomes the rock upon which you build your life. And let's remember, or at least in my world, presence and the present moment and God are one and the same. God is the present moment revealed, not some character in the sky. God is the silent presence at the very heart of all things present. The very heart of silence, including within you at the very center of your being. And as you become more and more present, the door to God, to infinite oneness, infinite love, timelessness, it opens up as you become present. The mystery begins to reveal itself, but not to your mind. Just say your name first.
I'm Ben.
Hi, Ben.
So I really resonate with what you say about anger being the most difficult emotion to tolerate. Like even fear, I feel like is not that much of a problem. But I sort of, for I would say maybe 6 or 8 months, I've had this kind of cyclical pattern where there will be kind of a lot of expansion and I feel very present and things will just be flowing very nicely. And then everything just contracts and gets incredibly tight and angry and hateful, and I just like it's like I'm aware that it's happening, and it's at the same time I get really caught in it, and it's very difficult to even establish kind of a beachhead of presence,
Right.
within
But
which
you're getting caught in it because whether it's conscious or unconscious, you're getting caught in it because you don't want it.
right
You're rejecting it.
Right.
You're saying, I like this, not this. And that's the trap. So next time that happens, just say, thank you, God. Now this is my opportunity for mastery. Because the only way we can arise in mastery of the mind and ego is by getting caught in the mind and ego. The only way we can liberate ourselves from the story is by when we get caught in the story. Then we can bring awareness, consciousness to, wow, how did that happen? How did I create that myself? if I take full responsibility for myself, what happened? What got triggered? What have I missed? That's how you arise in mastery.
Right, and I think that's it. Like I still haven't seen kind of what triggers that contraction.
Well, that's because you're rejecting it. Next time, just say, thank you, God. It's part of the process of awakening.
Even if I'm like, oh crap, this again, it's still,
Well, the fact that you're going, oh crap, this again means it'll keep happening.
Right.
It's bound to, because you haven't got it yet. You haven't revealed it.
Okay.
So you have to be, you become an explorer of yourself. Wow, okay, what's this? How did this happen? Step 2 is all about bringing conscious awareness to what is pulling you out of presence. What are the obstacles to presence? What is still unconscious within you? And bringing that story to awareness, to consciousness, and who you are in the story. So when you get triggered, you're getting pulled out for a reason. Somebody was telling me a very similar thing to what you just described. And when that happens, when you feel that beautiful feeling, the wonderful feeling, feeling so peaceful and loving and everything's flowing, you just say, thank you, God, right? Thank you, existence, whatever you want to say. Just be grateful. But the moment you try and hold on to it, it's going to go. Then the other side will come in. The moment you identify with it, the other side will come in, knock on your door and say, hey, what about me? So the way I look at it is, God said, if you would pay attention, you might hear God say to you, I've given you the gift, I've revealed the truth of life, the truth of love, the truth of existence, the truth of who you are. You've really opened up into that. Now I'm going to drop you back in to the mess, to the soup, because it's not enough that you're present. The cow is present, the donkey is present. I have a little more in store for you, says God. You need also to be a master of your mind and ego. I don't ask this of the cow. I don't ask it of the donkey, or the mosquito, or the tree, or the mountain, but I ask this of you, because it's by becoming a master of your mind and ego, you'll be truly liberated. And you'll be liberated to a dimension that is beyond, in a sense, beyond the tree or beyond the cow. Because you'll be a conscious being conscious of being a conscious being. You'll be a mirror for existence. I am, God is. I am, existence is. I am, isness is. I am. Thou art, God is. You become a mirror for existence. In a very strange way, as a mirror for existence, this tree here, this little flower plant here, it's here in its isness, in its beingness. It's all that it is. But it doesn't know that it's here. It doesn't know that it exists. Because it's in oneness. There's no duality for the plant. But in a very strange and mysterious way, as you become more and more deeply present, the flower gets to know itself through you in the silence. So in a way, at the very deepest level, you are God revealing God to God's self. Existence revealing existence to itself. But it's all in silence and presence. Then it's quite possible everything will become illuminated.
Thank you.
Okay. I thought you were done, Bill. Didn't last year? You told us you were done last time.
No, not quite done.
Not quite done. Okay.
But Ben, you answered my kind of question that I had, or that filled me. So I'm kind of left with a confession. I've really fallen a lot, just fallen down the road, and just want to confess that, and I want to open up those feelings around the hurt and lost helplessness that I feel. I don't really know where to go with
So,
that because
well,
that was answered with Ben.
Well, let's start with saying, in my story, I feel lost.
Yeah, in my story, I feel lost.
In my story, I feel helpless.
I feel helpless.
So you're just revealing what's going on in your story and who you are in your story right now.
Right.
Now, tell this plant here, tell the plant, in this moment I feel lost.
In this moment, I feel lost.
Is that true or not true?
It's not true.
Good. Tell the plant, in this moment I feel helpless.
In this moment, I feel helpless.
True or not true? In this moment.
Not true.
Not true. Isn't that interesting? It's like there's two different worlds. And, you know, you have to bring awareness to what you're doing that's taking you more and more into the story. What feelings are coming up that are keeping you imprisoned in the story? Is fear coming up? Is uncertainty about the future coming up? Worries about money coming up? Relationship issues? What's coming up that's imprisoning you in the story? What's taking you into the future, which just brings up the past? What's going on? That's your role as an awakening being. But then it doesn't really work unless you keep coming back to, every now and then, come back to the plants and make your confession to the plant, and you'll see it's not true.
That sounds right.
And, you know, the more you go, there's so much you can be afraid of in your story. Oh my God, if you go into your story, go into the future, death is over there. Death's coming. It's coming your way right now, every second. Failure. Poverty. The mind can create all sorts of drama in the story. You're going to finish up on the gutter with no food and people kicking you as they walk by, with no clothes. The mind can create all sorts of dramas, and they're usually based in pain and uncertainty from your childhood or from other lifetimes. But it's just a clue that you're choosing, your presence is not your first priority. That's all. You're more concerned with other things. What did Jesus say? Give us this day our daily bread. Good clue. He's saying don't go too far into the future, worrying about your future or money. Just ask for bread for today. That'll do you. As long as you've got enough for today. And I'll guarantee you, if you approach life on that basis, you'll always have enough for today. And if you don't, come and knock on my door and I promise you, I will give you a loaf of bread. Maybe a slice.
You are very generous.
Good. You know, it's so easy to get caught again, you know. It really depends. Awakening does not respond very well to lip service. It really doesn't. You can't fool God. You can't fool the ego. It's impossible. Where is your true priority? And, you know, I have compassion for anyone who doesn't have the present moment as their first priority. It's a big ask. Is anyone ready to put being present ahead of their children? Well, you don't have children, do you?
Well, I do actually.
Oh, yeah, okay, you do. Good. Okay, well, that's good. Then anyone willing to put being present ahead of being successful?
That's a good one.
Good. You wake up, he doesn't. I'm just joking.
I wasn't present at that moment.
Right. Anyone ready to put being present as more important than whether you live or die? Anyone ready for that? Oh, good. Got you on that one. Excellent. Okay, because that's what it takes. Again, we get clues. There are little clues everywhere. Thou shalt have no other God before me. That's the first commandment. But if you look at that and take it out of the religious context, assuming for a moment that God and the present moment are one and the same, there's a clue. Make being present the first priority. If you want to know me, says God, you better come to where I am. I'm not in the illusory world of your mind. That's the only place I don't exist. But I exist in everything else and everywhere else. Yeah, not your mind. But because we're all lost in the mind, we feel the pain of separation, the pain, the loss. There's no one here, not even God's here. So we make up belief in God. We create God in our image to make us feel better, which of course has nothing to do with God. One of the most difficult aspects of our journey is that we've all been given free will. Well, this is how I look at free will. It's like God has said to you, I'll give you free will, which means you can make any choice you like about anything. But the thing God didn't say to you is, but be aware, consequences flow from the choices you make. And not only that, says God, I'm waiting eternally for someone to recognize the fundamental choice, which it appears to me, says God, that very few people on this earth know the fundamental choice at the very heart of free will. What's the fundamental choice, we ask? Well, the fundamental choice is this, says God. Which world do you choose to live in? The world of the present moment, the truth of life, where I am the creator, says God, and the creation, and all that is? Or do you choose the world of your mind, the world of your story? I've given you free will, so you're free to choose. But I'm waiting for some of you, says God, to recognize that fundamental choice at the heart of free will. And when you really, really open up to that fundamental choice, it kind of becomes, thy will be done, not mine. And what does that mean? That means nothing more than I'm present and I'm accepting of the present moment as it is. I'm in the flow of the present moment. I'm responding to the present moment. Essentially, that's what it means. But it's a great challenge to come out of, to make that fundamental choice is essentially to come out of your story. And given that almost everyone on the planet is living in their story, it takes quite a lot of courage to make that choice. I'm here. Even if I'm the only one here, I'm here. That's really what it boils down to. I can't wait for the rest of you people to wake up. I can't. I'm here whether you're here or not. I can't wait until you approve of me or give me permission to be here or tell me I'm good enough to be here. I can't do that. I've done it for 28 lifetimes, but this is the lifetime where I say no thanks. I have the courage to be here even if I'm the only one. Okay, so let's all be present together. Very simple. It just means you're here. That's all it means. You're here as I am here. Or you're here as the flower is here. Or the sound. You're present with what is here. Your body is breathing. You hear the sound in each moment. Your hands are touching whatever they're touching. You can be present with that. You're here now. At least for this moment. Because there is only this moment.